The 2018 NBA draft was one of the better drafts in recent history. In this draft, there were a good handful of players with franchise-level potential, or even potential to be a star in this league in the future. Players such as DeAndre Ayton, Marvin Bagley, Trae Young, and the list goes on. But even though this draft was great, there are still some players who were drafted too low, or dropped in the draft due to injury, or that had something going on that concerned teams. But where they were drafted makes some steals. So in this video, we're going to be looking at some of the draft steals from the 2018 NBA draft. So also to make a player a steal, they have to be like outperforming their draft, where they're placed in the draft. But if you also believe that there's some other draft steals that I didn't mention in the video, drop it down in the comment section. And with all that said, let's get right into it. To start it off, we're going to be talking about Zhaire Smith. So Zhaire Smith is a very athletic guard who was selected by the Phoenix Suns with the 16th overall pick. So the thing about this is he was traded to the 76ers for Mikal Bridges. And well, he was traded along with a Miami Heat first round pick, which really doesn't really matter at this point. But Zhaire Smith is a really athletic guard with lateral quickness and a high motor with a crazy vertical. And he showed all of that off in the Summer League. He showed off his passing ability, playmaking, he showed off all of that. But he played college at Texas Tech. At Texas Tech, he averaged 11.3 points per game, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block. He was an honorable mention for the Big 12 selection and was selected to the conference's all-defensive team. And with that noted, I believe that he'll develop into one of the best defenders in this draft class. And he wasn't really a good three-point shooter, but he has shown improvement on his three-point shooting. And he showcased that in the Summer League. If you haven't seen it, he was shooting really good. He was shooting good three-point shots, and he was shooting good deep twos. So just that noted. And with that noted, I think this brings potential for him to be a good 3-and-D player in the future. Like that's what I think his ceiling will be, a really good 3-and-D player. And if you think about it, the 76ers need players like this because they have Ben Simmons, their point guard, who can't shoot. So to surround him with good 3-point shooters and good defensive players will be really good for the future. And Joel Embiid can spread the floor too, so that kind of makes it kind of deadly for them. So if they can easily just develop Zhaire Smith, that'll be a good future core to have for their franchise in the future. And they're all pretty young, at that. So just imagine that. But I think this was a steal of the draft only because he was selected at the 16th overall pick. But you could also say that Mikal Bridges was a steal, but I wouldn't really say that. I'm just gonna say that Zhaire Smith was a steal because he was selected at 16th overall. But I just can't wait to see him play. And let's get on to the next prospect. So next up is Luka Doncic. So everybody's always saying that Luka Doncic is not going to be a great player because they say he's unathletic and he's like too slow for the NBA. But I kind of think I don't think that's really fair because he was the best player in the EuroLeague at 19 years old. In today's league, I know you need to be athletic pretty much, and people say that he's too slow, but I don't know. I think he's arguably the best player in the 2018 draft. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of overstating, but I think he's one of the top 3 best players in the draft. He's the only player to win a EuroLeague MVP and a EuroLeague championship. Nobody else done that. But Doncic was selected by the Hawks and was dealt away for Trae Young and the top 5 protected pick for next year's draft. So I'm not saying Trae Young's a bad player, but I think that Doncic fits the Mavs better than he fits the Hawks. Well, I don't know. I think that he fits better than what Trae Young how he would have fit with the Mavs. And, yeah. So what Doncic could bring to the Mavs is playmaker from the wing position, and it would fit right in with head coach Rick Carlisle's offensive system. And this will make him an instant contributor to their offense, and that's really good because they have Dirk Nowitzki, Harrison Barnes, and now they have the new addition of DeAndre Jordan. And then they have second-year player and Dennis Smith Jr. So that's a good little core right there. Dennis Smith Jr. and Doncic. That's a good backcourt, by the way. But him being selected as the top 2 makes him a steal anyway. But since he was dealt away by the Hawks for Trae Young, I think that makes him a steal also. And Doncic is also very versatile, and the Mavs know that. And they were even talking about playing him at the 4 position, where his ball handling and knack for scoring and playmaking would make him a matchup nightmare, especially in transition where other forwards around the league can't keep up with him. So, that would be crazy to even see. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna try that out because he is 6'7", by the way. So he's a 6'7" playmaker. Like he's 6'7" point guard. So I mean that'll help out a lot with their offense and help out with mismatches around the league and all that. But it was also said that Dallas was targeting Doncic anyway and saying that they would do anything possible to land him. And they went ahead and did that. They traded up for him from the 5th pick. And they did land him because they believe that he has franchise player potential. And to be honest, I do too. I think he has franchise player potential. And I also think he has potential, well not potential, but the skill to contribute now to the Dallas, to Dallas, So I think he's one of the best players in this draft, period. And I think he has one of the higher ceilings in this draft. Him being unathletic, I think it means something, but I don't think it's really a big deal because that can be changed. So, I mean, we're also gonna have to see. These guys haven't played an NBA game yet, so we're also gonna have to see. But with all that said, let's get on to the next 2018 NBA draft steal. So you guys knew this was coming. Michael Porter Jr. So Michael Porter Jr. was selected with the 14th pick, the last pick in the lottery by the Denver Nuggets, and I label this as a draft steal because even though his injury, even though he raised concerns of his back and his hip, back spasms and all that, if you think about it, if the Denver Nuggets had to wait 13 picks before selecting anybody, so taking a risk on Michael Porter Jr. wouldn't hurt them at all. I think he's gonna pan out to be the player that he is, but even if he doesn't pan out, I mean, it doesn't really hurt them that much. But he definitely is the biggest steal of the draft if he does, he is. So the thing about Michael Porter Jr. is he's just he's a 6'10", elite scorer who has so much potential, but he suffered a back injury in the opening 2 minutes of his college basketball season that required surgery he hasn't fully recovered from yet. And less than a week before the draft, he was even canceling workouts in front of lottery teams, that were looking to draft him because of muscle spasm that he couldn't even so it was so bad that he couldn't even leave the bed. And that raised red flags and concerns, and it caused him to drop hours before the draft because they just didn't want to take that risk because they didn't want to waste their top 10 pick or top 5 pick on him if they weren't going to be able to play him and all that. But you have to think, he is a 6'10" elite scorer. He has so much potential. So you have to think, if he was able to pan out and recover from this, fully recover from this injury, he would be one of the best players in this draft, or even the best player in this draft. I think before injury, I think he was probably the second best player or the first best player in this draft. I mean, he's a really good player, period. So I mean, if he recovers from this injury, if you think about it, the Denver Nuggets got a franchise player at the 14th pick. They got a superstar at the 14th pick. So I mean, we're still gonna have to see how he does. I heard he's not gonna play in his first season, his rookie season. I heard he's gonna start playing maybe in next season. So we might see another Ben Simmons. He might win the Rookie of the Year next season. I mean, I called it just now. But I mean, we're gonna have to see. Let's all pray that he makes a full recovery so we can watch greatness on the court. And let's get on to the next steal of the 2018 NBA draft. So next up is Lonnie Walker IV. So we all know that the Spurs are one of the best drafting teams in NBA history. They always find diamonds in the rough, and they find gems at the end of the first round and second round. For example, they found Manny Ginobili with the 57th pick, Tony Parker with the 28th pick, Kyle Anderson with the 30th, and last year DeJounte Murray with the 29th. So I mean, it's nothing new here. But they selected Lonnie Walker IV with the 18th pick, right outside the lottery. So I mean, it's pretty much a steal right here. So with the departure of Kawhi Leonard, he's no longer on their team no more. He got traded away. They got DeMar DeRozan. They don't really have that much wing, players that play the wing position. So much of their wing depth, they play they're on expiring contracts. So they went ahead and selected Lonnie Walker. And I don't hate to admit it, but the Spurs are probably going to be rebuilding in the near future. So having someone like Lonnie Walker come onto the team is really a great pickup, really great steal in the draft, So Lonnie Walker is a freakishly athletic player, of course, with a long wingspan, with perimeter shooting, and he has defensive potential. So with all this noted, this led to Walker being a projected lottery pick, but for much of the season. But as you can see, he fell out of the lottery to the San Antonio Spurs. And if you haven't noticed, the Spurs have one of the best player development staffs in the league right now. So this is the same development staff that developed Kawhi Leonard into the player that he is today. So this same development staff is going to be working with Lonnie Walker. It's going to only mean great things. And with this noted, Walker can definitely be able to work on some of this weaknesses that he has, like his defense, rebounding, and on-court decision making. And another great thing is that Walker is only 19 years old, so he has plenty of room for development. And he's on the good Spurs organization, so he has good players. I mean, he has good coaching. He has a good coach, one of the legendary, probably the best coach in NBA history, coaching him right now. He has DeMar DeRozan he could learn from. So he has all this he can, you know, to help develop into a great player. So I can't wait to see what he does in the future. He's on a great team. He's surrounded by great resources that can help him become a great player. So we're just going to have to see what happens in the future. But let's get on to the last and final steal of the 2018 NBA draft. So next up is none other than Robert Williams. So Robert Williams is a center who can defend guards on switches and protect the rim. And I mean, he's a good player. He has a high motor and all that. But I mean, he was a steal by the Boston Celtics. So once again, the Boston Celtics have gone ahead and stole a player. He's not like the best player in the draft, but like he's one of those players that just fit their team so well. So I mean, like, you know, now they have a good center that, like, let's say they want to go like a small ball lineup and they want to have like defending guards and all that on switches from pick and rolls and all that. Look what they got. They got somebody who can defend guards now. So is that even fair now? So we're probably gonna definitely see the Boston Celtics come out of the East this year in the finals. So I mean, this is just crazy. They went ahead and stole Robert Williams. So I mean, Robert Williams, he slipped in the draft because there was concerns about his effort level, and many teams really couldn't get a hold of his medical records. So he slipped all the way to the 27th pick, where he was selected by the Celtics. At this pick, Boston gets a player who can potentially outproduce every big but Ayton, like, as a rookie. And if given the opportunity, like if he gets the playing time, he could potentially outproduce all the other bigs in this draft. So I just think that's crazy. And Mike Schmitz at ESPN said, while there are clear questions about Williams' motor, the rangy big man is without a doubt a top 10 caliber talent when fully engaged. Boston is the exact environment that Williams needs to rev up his focus and commitment to his craft. So just hearing that, it just, you know, it just like has me think, like, just because people couldn't get a hold of his medical records, they seen him play in college. I mean, they really passed up on him that many times, and then he fell all the way to the Celtics. Come on, this guy's throwing down windmill dunks mid-game. Like, what's up? Why would he drop that low in the draft? Even I wouldn't let him drop that low in the draft if I didn't have his medical records. Come on now. Like, he's a top 10 caliber player, and now the Celtics got him on their already stacked team. Like, they don't have a stacked team, they just have a bunch of young players that are going to develop into great players in the future, so I call it a stacked team. But he was the last 2018 NBA draft steal that I have. So, I mean, if you think of any other draft steals, do let me know in the comment section down below. And drop a like if you did enjoy this video. I do have more videos that I really want to make about the 2018 draft class, or the 2018-2019 NBA season. So if you really want to see those, be sure to drop some likes on this video. Let's see if we can hit maybe 5 likes. So if we can, that'll be awesome. My name is the Windy City Assassin, and I am signing out. Peace.